Assalamualaikum to Madam Munifah. Today, my team and I will present our case study entitled Socio-Economic Background and STEM Achievement Among Undergraduate Students in College Professional Mara Sri Iskandar. Okay, before I start my presentation, we start our presentation. My team member are Anggun Ilya, Clintia JB, me Muhammad Umar, and Nur Khairina, and Nur Kartini. All right, now let's move on to the next slide. Okay, these are our contents: introduction, finding, analysis, application, implication, recommendation, and lastly, conclusion. Right, the last one, next slide, please. Sini, next slide. Right. Okay, this is, I will talk about the introduction. The case study is about the relationship between socio-economic status, SES, background, and its relationship to how students in College Professional Mara Sri Iskandar perform in STEM subject and their achievements. According to studies by Krishnan, Reston, and Sukumaran, students' socio-economic background status influenced by their parents' education, occupation, and income. The study that they conducted found that students that come from a higher socio-economic background tend to perform better in mathematics and science subjects. Students from lower income households face difficulties to access to information, which contributed to their inability to do better in STEM subjects. In our case study, we conducted a survey at College Professional Mara Sri Iskandar in Perak. There were 30 respondents that responded to our questionnaire, and this survey is the purpose of this survey is to observe if these studies that was conducted by Krishnan, Reston, and Sukumaran prove to be real. All right. Next slide. Okay. For this next slide, my friend will continue this presentation.
Okay, thank you. I will continue for findings and analysis part. So I will present what we have found from this study. Let's have a look at the student's profile background first. We have collected from 30 respondents, and from the respondents, we can identify that the socio-economic background are a mixed group. We can see that the largest group is among the M40s, followed by B40s and the T20s. In terms of their academic achievement, 40% showed that they have achieved an excellent CGPA, which is between 3.5 to 4. We have found out the challenges that they face, which is the resource challenges in terms of the affordability gap. Number one would be digital equity achieved. We found out that the traditional digital divide is largely closed, with high consensus on reliable computer and internet access based on the survey question that we asked, with mean of 4.37, which equals to 66.67% that strongly agrees to digital equity. Number two will be in terms of the affordability gap, where inequality is now focused on the supplementary resources, where the students are looking at extra tuitions or extra mentoring or coaching. That shows a wide split between students who can afford these competitive resources and those who cannot. 40% of the respondents strongly agreed that they could afford these resources, while a significant minority, 23.34%, strongly disagree about this. The next would be socioeconomic background or socioeconomic status predicts resource access, which parental education level is a strong predicator of resource availability. This is because we can see from the families with postgraduate fathers unanimously reported full ability to afford extra tuition with mean of 5. And families with primary school fathers reported strong disagreement on affording extra tuition. We have come out with two possible themes based on the findings from these studies. theme number 1 will be supplementary resource access defines excellence. For example, extra resources helps to boost the students to get top grade. Affording supplementary tuition, for example, is strongly correlated with the highest academic tier. All right. Number 2 would be the result of the excellent CGPA. 9 out of 11 students who strongly agreed they could afford extra tuition has achieved this tier. And theme number 2 will be in terms of the internal factors or internalized barrier. That's a financial stress where half of the students, 50%, strongly believe that family finances does affect their academic performance, followed by behaviors where they think a significant group, 26.67, feels that their socio-economic background negatively impact their access to quality of education. And we also found out that pressure is not just scarcity. Even high-income students, postgraduate fathers who can afford extra resources, unanimously feel that financial pressure actually affects their performance with means of 5.0. Next analysis will go to my friend. I would like to ask my friend Anggun to proceed with the next presentation.
Okay, so I am Anggun and I will proceed with the findings in terms of discussion and critical analysis. So I will focus on in terms of the key findings on socio-economic disparity. As you can see in the figure, there is several differences between group B40, which is the parents below 3K salary, and also T20 above 7K. So it could see that in terms of mean affordability of extra tuition or materials, B40 3.15, closer to neutral, and then T20 above 7K is 4.80, strongly agree or yes. So there are three components that I would like to emphasize here based on the result. In terms of affordability gap, T20 families are almost universally able to afford crucial supplementary educational resources, which mean 4.8, a key input for STEM success, whereby B40 families report significantly lower affordability, which have the mean 3.15. In terms of parental education effect, students with highly educated parents, such as degree or diploma and above, also reported higher affordability of extra classes, 4.05, compared to those with lower educated parents, 3.00. In terms of subjective disadvantage, the B40 group reports the highest level of agreement that their socio-economic background negatively affects both their access to quality education and their academic performance. So next slide. Okay, there are three theories that can relate it to our analysis in terms of sociological lenses. So the first theory is conflict theory, class reproduction. As for the mechanism, financial resources in terms of economic capital are converted into educational advantages, cultural capital, focusing on private tutoring. As for the conclusion, the unequal affordability of extra resources allows wealthy family, which is considered as T20 family, to purchase success effectively, reproducing social class across generation and undermining meritocracy. So in terms of the second theory, functionalism, we're focusing on sorting and selection. The mechanism is inequality exists to ensure the most important STEM roles are filled by the most qualified. So as for the conclusion, the theory can explain differential reward based on educational investment, but it fails to account for the unequal starting line. Success is driven by inherited advantage, which is wealth, not solely individual talent. So as for the third theory, interactionism, which focusing on social labeling and perception, in terms of mechanism, students' subjective experience of financial strain and lack of resources. So the conclusion, the B40 students high perceived negative impact such as internalization of a deficit level, this can lead to a self-fulfilling prophecy, potentially lowering academic aspiration and also performance. Okay, next slide. Okay, there are three themes related to critical analysis of our study. It is under inequality themes in Malaysian education. The first theme is class reproduction is purchased. As for the finding, extra tuition and materials are now a critical commodity. As for the implication, education is less a public good and more a private investment, creating a structural advantage for the affluent. As for the second theme is unequal access to quality inputs. As for the finding, we can see from the research that we have done, the gap is not in basic access. What it means by basic access is internet, but in quality inputs, tutoring, high quality reference material, cultural, knowledgeable parents. So as for the implication, this disparity ensures that the achievement gap begins long before college, rooted in secondary education preparation. So as for the last theme, psychological burden of disadvantage. So as for the finding, we found out that the B40 group expresses a strong feeling of being limited by their financial status. This is because the implication intervention must address the psychological and emotional stress of financial insecurity to truly level the playing field. That's all for my part. I pass the presentation to JB.
Okay, thank you, Anggun. We will proceed to the application and implication. From our study, we found that students' socio-economic background still affect their STEM achievement. Like students from higher income families can afford extra classes and better materials. Meanwhile, students from lower income families, especially in rural areas, face more challenges and fewer resources. This shows that achieving education equity in Malaysia, especially in institutions like Mara, is still a big challenge. And for the policy implication, the government can help by providing more STEM scholarship and mentoring for B40 students. It also important to improve internet access and digital facilities in rural school. The Ministry of Education should keep checking if support programs are fair and effective. And next is practice implication. Teachers need training to handle class bias and teach more inclusively. For example, schools should work closely with parents and communities to motivate students in STEM. Also, more experienced STEM teachers should be sent to the school in rural area. Lastly, contribution to understanding educational inequality. Our study helped us to understand that family background really affect learning opportunities. Students from rich family often have more advantage. So education in Malaysia still reflects social class differences, not just talent or hard work. And that's all from me. I will pass the presentation to the Karina.
Thank you, JB. So I will move on to the findings, discussion of the findings. Okay, our findings show that socio-economic background continues to play a strong role in shaping academic outcomes. This reflects Weber's conflict theory, which explains how class and access to resources affect life chances, including education. And interestingly, B40 students themselves recognize how their financial background affected their learning confidence and access to materials. This finding reaffirmed that even in merit-based system, unequal access to resources continues to influence who succeed in STEM fields. Next slide. So I move on to the recommendation. Okay, based on these findings, several steps can help reduce the achievement gap. First, KPM Sri Iskandar could expand financial and academic support programs especially for B40 students, including free tutoring and better access to learning materials. Next, improving digital access is the key. Initiatives like laptops, loans, or extended Wi-Fi zones can directly support STEM learning. Parental awareness workshop may also help families encourage academic effort even without strong educational backgrounds. Finally, policy level intervention should ensure scholarship and resource distribution focus on equity so that student success depends on talent, not their financial status. So in conclusion, conducting this study deepen our understanding of how social and economic inequalities affect student learning and motivation. We realize that success in education is not only based on effort but also shaped by access and opportunity. This case study increased our awareness of the need for equity in education, especially for students from lower socio-economic backgrounds. So the study highlights the importance of building a fair, inclusive and empowering learning environment for all students. In overall, the study highlights that socio-economic background continues to shape STEM success by promoting equity-focused intervention both at the classroom and policy level. KPM Sri Iskandar can nurture a generation of capable STEM graduates driven by merit rather than financial status. That's all from our group. Thank you.